All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are here with another Final Fantasy 1 80%. Looking forward to this. We got Preucheu, and then we also have Trinton.
It's gonna be a fun one. So I just want to give a little disclaimer before we start this. I'm Hapkai Nama, and with me is FF Steve. Hi. And just
Hello.
a little short out. We're both fairly new, so don't take everything we say for gold, because it can definitely be that we mess something up somewhere or have wrong information or wrong experiences somewhere. But I'm sure for these kind of hiccups, we will have enough members of the community to correct us in chat.
All right, here we go. We're already starting off. We have a small cutscene, but there are 3 of them. Luckily, they're in the beginning of the race, so we're gonna get these cutscenes out the way. This is about a 1 minute 55-second start here.
Yes. So the one really annoying part about speedrunning this game is the early game is a little bit RNG heavy, and on top of that we have a 2-minute cutscene before we can start anything. Then we have another about a minute cutscene, and then another about a 2-minute cutscene, and that within the first 10 minutes. Which is a little bit annoying if you just got past the cutscenes, get some bad RNG, actually die, have to reset, have to watch all the cutscenes again.
So, what's kind of like the story going on here for those that may not know? So, we have the Warriors of Light here.
There's story in
the
this
game
game?
is trying to teach us some. Yes, there is. There is some lore.
Yeah, basically it's your classic scenario. The world is clouded in darkness, everything is going to ruins, nothing really makes sense anymore, and then suddenly some heroes come from out of nowhere to go on and save the world. So the big story here is that we have crystals that control the elements, fire, water, air, and wind. And we're just gonna try to, reenact them, get them back running and working, so that the world may not lose itself in chaos. And yeah,
Well
so
said.
the first cutscene's over. We're gonna start off with a teeny tiny bit of shopping. We're going to get a rapier as a better weapon for the fighter for the start, and then also a chainmail for, of course, more defense. The next step is then going to be to optimize the warrior and remove everything from the monk. And yeah, I just wanted to say Trinton made a huge mistake. I was wondering why he was taking a thief. I was really wondering about that. So yeah, party composition. You usually want to go with a warrior. That is going to be our main tank. In the second slot, we'll take a monk, who will be our primary damage dealer throughout the end game, and then 2 black mages as our main source of damage, because AoE spells are super powerful, and most enemy groups that we'll ever see, and even most bosses, will go down in very few turns of just as few spells.
So to bring over the Preucheu side of things, what we're looking more for here is ogres for the first half of the game are very important to get. Very good experience, very good gil. You're going to be looking for that. So I would say as we get into it more, you're getting to 2 random battles before you hit up Garland. Hopefully everything will go smooth there, and the transition over to Provoca later.
Yeah, so you preferably want to level up before Garland. If you don't, that's not the end of the world. Depending on your movement and a little bit of RNG, you will get 1 or 2 encounters before him. Garland is just your generic villain. He talks big and ooh, never mind. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Commentator's Curse. So, usually it's a very simple fight. You attack with your fighter and your monk, and you cast Thunder with your black mages, which should deal great damage. The one thing you definitely do not want to see, especially in the early game, is the black mages dying, as the Preucheu's first black mage just did. Because experience are very important, and especially on the black mages who are already that squishy. You want to give them level ups as fast as possible so they get away from only those 20 HP, where many things in the early games even can just one-hit KO them.
Now, as we see both the runners here, they look like they're both running the double black mage strategy. If for those that did not check out the previous SpeedGaming race with Shane Shane actually went with the double red mage. So there's multiple different strategies about how you might want to go into this fight. Some are riskier, some a little bit more safe, like the red mages would be. Black mages is a lot more DPS heavy, so you're going a little bit quicker, but it's a lot more riskier. So it looks like for these two, for Trinton and Preucheu, that they're going into it full risk, double black mage.
Yeah, double black mage is considered the fastest strategy. There is the beginner strat of taking a red mage and a black mage, so the red mage can actually learn some healing spells, which makes the early game a little bit safer. Or you could go with two black mages, as Shane did last run, which I sadly only saw a few parts of, which I imagine would be great. Or you can just go with a white mage and a black mage right away, but that would make the mid-game definitely, while the early game would be a lot safer with that, the mid-game also would be a lot slower.
It was nice to see these two going in double black mages, so it's going to be risky. There's going to be some quick saves involved to protect yourself, so just in case some of these random encounters don't go your way, or the boss fights. And luckily in this pixel remaster here on the computer, you be able to have you got your auto saves and also diagonal, if not mistaken. Now the other games didn't actually have that. This is new for the series, or this game.
I think it is, but I also could be wrong on that. Anyways, on the meantime, yeah, Preucheu is entering the last of the annoying early game cutscenes, while Trinton is having his Garland fight. He also had a crazy horse on the way, which is probably the best encounter you could wish for at this point, as it's fairly easy. It is a little bit dangerous, but it is usually fairly easy to kill, and gives a good pound of experience, which allowed him to level up already, which makes Garland all in all a little bit faster.
We could possibly see more of these coming up after this cutscene here for them, as on the way to Preucheu, you'll get at minimum 3 encounters, and where the horses might show up, the ogres might show up, or lizards. That's kind of what you're looking for, as and kind of save your thunders for them. With the Pixel Remaster, you don't exactly have your MP as you have charges for your spells. So limited resource, especially early on, so you want to kind of maximize the opportunity to use those. So if you get like goblins, you might want to attack or flee, but definitely use your thunders on those creatures.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to waste the thunders, as they are the biggest source of damage you have right now, dealing about 30, 40, 50 damage-ish, depending on the level that they are in the moment. While the fighter and the monk mostly only do depending on the enemy, around 10 to 30 damage a hit. So it's really huge. And with only 2 to 3 casts possible right now on them, it is a resource you want to wait up for the enemies that could actually become dangerous if they stay around too long. Alright, let's see what Preucheu gets here. And, the quad 4. So that is something you don't want to see, and that is getting more and more annoying for him. Running away there definitely was the right call. 4 horses can be very, very annoying to deal with. And he's taking the autosave. Does the bridge actually autosave? The bridge actually autosaves. I never knew that. That is very interesting and good to know. Yeah, lizard instead. Easy enemy, easy to deal with. Oh, yeah,
so it was a nice call using the thunder against the lizards here. Crazy horses is a riskier strategy, as you saw before. Unfortunately, he got his black mage taken out. We do want to keep them up as much as possible. We need those levels. We need those charges. We need those.
And more crazy horses.
Oh man.
This is not a stay. Usually, as you can see now, with the 2 and 4 damage they do on the first 2, that's quite not that bad. But once they target the mages, also on 2, when that's more mage deaths, that's going to be more autosave reloads or quick safety reloads. Also, to maybe put a little bit emphasis of that, there is a reason why we have the party in the order that we have here, because due to how the game is coded, you actually have fixed chances for each character to get hit. So with this, the fighter, who's standing in the very front, has a 50% chance to get targeted by single target attacks. The monk
or more crazy horses.
They are really out for him today. The monk has a 25% chance to get hit, and the black mages have each a 12.5% chance to get hit by physical single target attacks. Which of course means that he just got very unlucky, getting them killed 2 to 3 times. But also, at some point you question yourself, do I just take this encounter? Because the levels really can make a huge difference. Though it is always a risk to go for the bigger encounters, as they can go south in a matter of seconds.
So as we move into Provoca here, we're looking more towards replenishing your charges, resting at the end. We'll see here if he goes to the east and go. Nope, he goes over to straight for pirates. Considering probably the Gill, you have a chance to go get your tempers on the right side or go straight into it, which we see Preucheu doing.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe he just thought his money wasn't good because he didn't have any encounters. Maybe he gets them after the fight. We'll have to keep an eye on that. While we hope that the pirates leave his mages alone now.
There is a low chance for a leather shield to drop from the pirates fight. We'll see if it works out for Preucheu. No, not today.
Nope. Meanwhile, Trinton getting some decent encounters on the way. He's definitely going to be happy about this right now. Getting some decent experience, bringing encounters in, good money, good experience, while Preucheu had to run from anything, which can definitely make a difference. And there, Preucheu goes for the tempers.
Oh, and thanks to the chat for Shane. Apparently, I was wrong on that. So the leather shield has a decent chance, not so much of a low chance, to drop.
The more you learn. One drop that we could have seen already before, though, would have been a longsword from Garland, which is definitely more on the rare side, and it is always great when you get it, because that would be a huge damage up for your fighter for the early game. Meanwhile,
so we're already seeing some differences in their strategies here. We saw Trinton head over to the east to grab the tempers.
I mean, Preucheu did as well just after the fight. Which, to be fair, Preucheu probably just did the tempers later because he wasn't sure on his money if he could afford both in the first time before killing the pirates. But there is a big difference if you buy the spells before or after the pirates encounter, because the pirates are scanning the town folks, and the moment you beat them, they all come back out. And on the right side, there is a very, very annoying NPC that can just ruin your day and cost you a bunch of seconds. Depending on how he will move and if he will move. So it usually is the safer strat to grab it beforehand, just again with Preucheu not having any real kills on the way. And Preucheu is really not having a good early game, more than Black Mages. Again, that's like the one characteristic you don't want to see dead at this point. Really unfortunate, but at least he's coming up to Cornelia again, where he can just res him, heal everything, and it's fairly cheap. It still is annoying every time it happens.
Fortunately, Trinton did not get the leather shield drop at either. But yeah, moving back over to Preucheu is once we're on the high seas, we're looking for buccaneers mainly. They give the best experience, the best skill. Specifically 5 of them. There's another formation of 3 of them. Any of those would be very, very good to have. Got to be a little bit careful when it comes to sharks, as they do hit hard, as we saw before. So just got to watch out for that.
Yeah, you definitely want to. Definitely, when you go on the seas, you hope for some bucks to make a quick buck. or for some sharks, because sharks, while dangerous, also give a huge amount of experience. And levels are important right now, as we're now slowly heading towards Elfheim, where we're going to buy our first AoE spell. And then right after that, heading over to Marsh Cave, which is already one of the more dangerous places in the early game. Not a very nice place to be at, and you definitely want to have some money before so you can gear up properly. Prepare properly. Some people might actually go and do some extra grinding before heading to Marsh Cave after getting the AoE spell, just going back to the sea, killing a few more encounters to get the money to set up. It's personally also what I do. But with these two runners, we'll see if they feel comfortable with their money or if they actually just go straight for Marsh Cave. Let's see, Preucheu
It'd
here
be
with
interesting to see.
Preucheu here with 1100, he's definitely going to go and grind a little bit more. With 100, you definitely can't do anything. The more annoying part also is that, Ogre Stowe, that is lucky. That is very, very lucky. He had one Fandara, was trying to get the quick buck, and ran into the literal best encounter. He's going to get 700 gil just from that. And I think he's just gonna run after this. But one ran away. That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. 300
On the
gil.
left side for Trinton, we have these big eyes over here. Got to watch out for them, as they can stun your party members and either hurts you on fleeing, or that's just one less character that you have to do attacks on. So something to watch out for. Here we have Preucheu on the right side, got the money that he wanted, got the items that he needed, looking at some antidotes to watch out, because over here in Marsh Cave, a lot of the enemies in there can poison you, so you got to prepare for that one, and as much potions as possible.
Yeah, the main problem though is with preparing yourself with antidotes. It's always the thing, if you buy a bunch, you'll never get poisoned. If you buy the bare minimum and only get like 2 or 3, you get poisoned in every single battle. It's the curse of Marsh Cave.
It's pretty hard to gauge how much you should have. If you want to get risky and have more potions and less antidotes, you're gonna get poisoned all the time.
Trinton also going for some more money grind before getting the Fandara. I think he actually didn't even have enough money for it, but also getting into the Ogre fight with the Ogre Chief and the 2 Ogres, which is, again, the best fight you can get right now. It is quite rare, but it's literally the best fight you can have for money and experience right now, as it gives a bit over 600 experience and around 690 gil, which is the most amount of gil out of any fight you can get currently at this point of the game, which is huge. Trinton already grinding some more. He's probably just gonna try to get everything done right now. Get around 1500, 1600 gil, or more ogres. That is what you want to see. That is the good RNG.
Yeah, that's actually pretty amazing. Usually people take the strategy of going over back into the high seas, using their like Thandaras, or and there's a lot more chance for the experiences and the gil out there. He took the rare chance of just staying next to the city, and it worked out for him, getting those ogres.
Definitely did. Meanwhile, Preucheu showing why Marsh Caves hate cave. Dead black mages everywhere, poison everywhere. It's just not a pleasant place to be at, especially in the early game. But yeah, Trinton really got lucky there to just catch up on that, because again, on the seas you have sharks, which give about, I think it's about 150 gil per kill. You have buccaneers, which give 120. So there's just so much more money to be made on the seas. Then again, you have...
there they are.
And then on land, you have wolves that give literally nothing. You have spiders that give literally nothing. You have the goblins that give literally nothing. And then you have sometimes the luck to find the ogres. 66
there's the fun.
66 skill from Shark. Shane corrects me right now. I was a little overestimating them, but that's still basically that one shark is more than a big pack of wolves.
Well, with the 3 formation of Buccaneers and then the 5 after that as well, Trinton's sitting pretty nice on experience and Gil. Looks like going to pick up, I believe, the second Thundara and start making... Oh, going back out. And, yeah, going back out to grind.
That's getting very interesting now. I mean, it is a marathon run, so you probably want to play it rather safe than sorry. It is a race in the end, and the difference of just having a cleaner Mars Cave can already make it up huge. Because right after Mars Cave, we want to head into the next boss fight, and it can just be very bad if you get badly out of Mars Cave and then badly into the boss, badly into Astos. That's just things.
We got Preucheu over here heading over against one of our other bosses here, Pisco Demons. They hit hard, as you can tell, and unfortunately he went down. That's how they go. Very early game. We're all still pretty weak as a party. And they just hit really, really hard as we see him defending. They're getting through into just a Thundagas.
Interesting strategy to go for the defense, though, because the Thundara has a decent chance of low rolling. 1 lift here. It is usually a common strat to spread out normal attacks from the first 3 party members and then use Thundara of the 4th, trying to snipe a low roll and maybe kill a Pisco anyways, but it worked out for him this time. Took a good bit of damage, but in the end it worked out.
And there they are, just more poison. Poison. Gotta look out for that.
What does Trinton get? 8 antidotes.
8 antidotes.
17 potions. 70 potions, 8 antidotes. That does definitely look decent. No tents, no ethers. Which, to be fair, is more of a beginner strat to take them. If you have extra tents, it's a little bit more safety you can have in the back end. Especially before Astos. Ethers, so you can maybe kill a few things in Mars Cave as well. But hey, everyone each their own, and you gotta respect going for the optimized strats of get as little as you need.
That's the beautiful thing about this game, is that there's a whole bunch of different ways of going about it. There's so many options, and the community is so ready and available to help you out with any questions that you have. There's notes available, guides, and everybody is coming up with their own strategies and trying different things. So it's very nice to see everybody has their own little twist and personality into the runs.
Yeah, personally, I have to say, I've been speedrunning for a few years now, but the community that I've encountered after starting with FF1 for like about a month and a half ago, it's been amazing, and it's been fantastic to see this.
So as we see now, Preucheu has made its way out of Marsh Cave and going up north towards Astos. Astos is a very, very troll type of boss. Pretty much a mage, has a whole bunch of different kind of spells. Can either slow you, haste itself, a lot of AoE damage that can go out, or just instantly kill you. So it's very RNG heavy how it's going to work out. So let's see how this goes for Preucheu.
Does play it safe, takes the cottage, is a little bit of a time loss, but fully heals his party that was already hit down pretty badly, and restores all spell slots. Which in this position definitely was the right call. And yeah, let's
use temper on it.
Let's see which strategy. Yes, he does the temper strategy. So there are like 2 or 3 strategies you can do here. You can try to over-buff one of your characters and then try to kill him in 1 hit. You can buff both your fighters and then start using spells, which is what Preucheu is doing here. Or you can just say, screw it and just normal attack with and just keep the buffs out if you didn't buy him at this point. Because yeah, buying the tempers early is optional. You could also go back and get them later. It's just this is the only fight where the tempers early really matter. After this, it won't matter until like the final boss rush.
Well, it's nice to see Preucheu get through with it on the second try. It could be very nice to you. It could be a lot worse, and it could take him multiple tries. So it worked out for Preucheu on the second try.
Was it the first try? I didn't see him die. He got hit pretty bad with the first turn, but actually pulled through.
Was that first try?
I want to say it was first try, but it could be that I went into a second sleep there. But yeah,
And on the left side here, we got Trinton slowly pulling up towards Pisco Demons, those beefy wizards. Trinton did quite a bit of grinding prior to, so I don't think he's going to be a lot more safer. And I believe the second Thundara, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see how it works out for him.
He definitely has the safer strats. Meanwhile, on the other side, Preucheu is heading back to Elfheim, where his objectives are A, to buy the second Thundara, which he didn't get, B, optional to visit the inn, which he does here, and C, optional to maybe buy haste already, which is quite expensive, but you can definitely afford at this point of the game. Though it's not too big of use. Would save you some time later of not having to come back here. We'll see if he does it or not. Again, his money does look kind of low. But it seems like he's going for it.
Nice first try for Trinton. Unfortunately, lost the Black Mage there, but does have a Phoenix down. Probably revive him.
So yeah, for me personally,
decides to go back, and once that experience, these bosses, especially early game, you want that experience, you want that health, you need those. So looks like Trinton takes the strategy of just going back into it, risking the fight again, and just making sure these Black Mages get it. Ooh, unfortunately, but down again.
To be fair, with double Thundara, he has decent chances to get through here, but RNG just says no right now. I wonder if he's got to take it this time. Might not, with how low the fighter is as well. First time resetting over a dead Black Mage definitely is a choice. Doing it 2 times already is a little bit questionable. We'll see. Nope, he does it again. He really wants that experience.
On the right side for Preucheu, making their way over to Matoya's cave, where we're looking to grab a Jolt tonic, because the King of Elfheim is we need to help them out, get them revived up, which helps out with the story to progress it. So just going up north to go and grabbing that, and then right back down south. So a lot of high seas.
Yeah, I personally call it the grinding segment, because at this point with 2 Thundaras you can just set auto battle to defend with the fighter and the monk, spam Thundara with the Black Mages, and kill everything in your way. Which is definitely a decent strategy, and with the seas having some encounters that could really give some decent experience, it is like the grinding segment. Especially because at the end of the sea traveling, because what we're doing right now is we're going to Matoya to get the Jolt tonic, sail all the way back to Elfheim, where we are going to hand that in to get a Mystic Key. And then we head over to Cornelia to grab some TNT, some dynamite. Well, not in this version. This version is, what was it again? Nitro something? Nitro powder?
Nitro powder, yes.
Yeah, which we then will, and then we will do our shopping. So this is also like the grinding segment in terms of money as well. As after this, we want to get our items for the next about half an hour of the run, which are going to be healing items and most importantly, ethers. So I really hope the seas give you some decent money, especially if you buy haste early, which is a cost of 2,500 gil. That is a lot of money. Will save him the trip back though later. But that of course means that he will have these 2,500 less for stocking up for the next half an hour of the game. So we'll see if the seas actually might spout some buccaneers at his way on our way back now.
Yes, always looking out for those buccaneers, and on land looking out for those ogres. If anything, maybe some the 9 formation of Sahagin Chiefs, and it's a one big AoE to finish them off.
Trinton now finally leaving Mars Cave. Informed us, by the way, in chat, for those who can't read chat anymore, because you're watching this later maybe. He informed us that he wanted the Phoenix down, that we grabbed from a chest in Mars Cave. He wanted to keep that in case he dies after, in case he dies on Astos, which definitely is a call to make. At this point, it's basically a pick your poison type of situation, but I respect the choice. Because post Astos, the Phoenix Down definitely can do a lot as well.
Here we go with Trinton on the left side going into Astos. Let's see how it works out for him.
He's not using the cottage, so he will be down a few spell charges, but he has Fandara on both mages, so it evens about out. Gives him also the chance to sell the cottage in a bit for an extra 1,000 gil. Or use it later to refill his spell slots during the ride on the seas. Let's see what Astos has in stock. He does also go with the Temper strat, but only one
Temper. Fandara.
Yep. So he was going straight for the damage and hoping for the monk to carry. Or that way. That is actually a very interesting idea to do it like that, especially if you do have the double Fandaras.
It's definitely a safer strategy, as in if you do the temper or double temper on a single fighter, then there's an opportunity to them to get instantly killed. So keeping the damage going on with the Thunder or Thandaras and keeping up slowly with the tempers as well is a good strategy as well.
Sure is. Definitely a interesting strat. I've not seen that one before.
Well, it definitely worked out for Trinton. First time go for Astos.
That's definitely what you want to see. And he's already removing everything from the fighter. That's a interesting call to make. Probably wants to sell some things before when he's back in Elfheim to afford haste, I would assume right now. But we'll see how that one goes in the end. Because usually I would want to keep the threat. Or he dropped the Mithril or Silver Sword from Astos and we didn't even catch that, and I just missaw that completely.
Very true. As said in chat, a strategy as we saw with Nash Lax got the warrior killed. With the warrior killed,
all right, yeah,
you got a lot more experience to be pushed out for the rest of them. The black mages and the monk, which we're really focusing on for the entirety of the game, is to get the warrior killed, let more experience for the rest of the party, and just pretty much keep the warrior down until Earth Cave to where you can get petrified.
That is indeed a strategy, though it is also a risky one, as that will enable enemies higher chance to hit your weaker party members, which can go south fairly quickly. But it is a respectful choice.
I mean, there was quite a bit of grinding before for Trinton, so to see having that extra resources available to him to keep them alive is good.
That is for sure.
So on the right side, we have Preucheu that got the nitro powder, bringing it over to the Dwarf Cave, giving it to the dwarves to go ahead and make some explosions happen, opening up the canal to make our way west into Melmond.
Yes, so we're going to head into aforementioned Earth Cave. But yeah, we have a few things to do before that, and especially in Melmond, we will get our next upgrade in the spell Fyra Ga. So we'll get a stronger spell, which can deal more damage. Has less cards because casts though, because it's a higher spell level, of course. But also gives us a good advantage against against zombie enemies or undead enemies in general, as they are weak to fire, which we will encounter in Earth Cave a bunch of times, and also for the rest of the game.
I will say, I don't know who Trinton talked to, but I will say all these ogres are popping up a lot for him. Really good random encounters working out in Trinton's favor.
Yeah, I also saw some Buccaneers just on his sea crossing, so Trinton is definitely gonna have a choice to maybe go back into Elfheim and do some more of the diverse strats as get haste or Fyra or both, or just keep all the money for extra items, or keep the money a little bit longer and buy some extra armor for the mages. There are so many things you could do at this point. They're a little bit diverse. Some give you advantages in some in one place, some in the other place. Some are more just for safety, some are for speed. And that is, again, the beauty of this, because every runner has like their own.
No. So like we were talking about, and the chat mentioned it as well, the double-edged sword, the pros and the cons. So a very fast strategy to use is having your continued auto battle on. It helps with the transitioning into a fight scene and getting in and out of fights. So the thing is, it was on, and he ran away from a 5 Buccaneer. It's sad to see.
That is definitely a feels Batman point. But yeah, it is a choice. I'm not sure about that. I haven't really looked at things yet. I personally don't play with the continued auto battle, but from what I've heard, it says about 30 seconds to a minute per run from just a little black flashing screen when the start fight's going faster at the start of every fight. But overall in the run, it doesn't amount to too much. I've heard. I could be definitely wrong. I could definitely be wrong about that.
I will say I first started out with not using it. I tried it once, didn't like it, didn't use it. But then I got around to trying it again, and I will say it definitely takes a little bit of getting used to. But there, of course, is pros and cons to it. But the transitions and everything are a little bit quicker. So to each their own, of course. Maybe practicing and getting before you start going for like the world records, or go with what you're comfortable with.
Definitely. Alright, meanwhile, Preucheu just finished his shopping in Melmont, now heading for Earth Cave. On our way to Earth Cave, we have a few things on our minds. We want to have a certain level. I think it was 14 or... No, 15 was later. 11. 11 was the level, I think. I could be wrong. Again, sorry if I give false information. The better runners in chat can definitely help out, but yeah, I think it was 11, because at that point we get our first spell slot for Firaga. So we definitely want to have that, because in Earth Cave a lot of enemies are weak to fire, and we really just want to have it at that point.
Level 12, actually.
It's 12.
Level 12 is what we're looking for. So once you get level 12, you'll have your first slot for Firaga, and then on the next level for 13 is when you get your second one.
I'm bad with numbers. But yeah, that's the first thing we want to look for. The second thing we want to hope for are lesser tigers on the overworld, as they have a... We don't really know what. We had
low
so chance. Many...
a low chance for
a
an
low
axe
chance
potion.
For an axe potion, yeah, which will be huge for the final fight, as more safety is great, and if you get one, you might as well save a little bit of time getting one later. And the third thing we want to look out for is after we reach the third floor of Earth Cavern, we can run into cockatrices, also called jerkbirds by the community. And we really, really hope that they behave and that they play nice and that they attack our fighter and monk a bunch, because with their normal attack they have a chance to petrify our characters, and if they do, we have 3 tanks, as with petrification in this game, party members that are petrified still get experience, won't take any actions, and more importantly, they can still be targeted. So our goal here is to hope to find some, get our fighter and monk petrified, to then, again, the fighter has a 50% chance to get hit with a single target attack, the monk a 25, so you have a 75% chance that an enemy with a single target attack hits one of the 2 statues, which then will result into a miss, no damage is dealt, and we don't have to heal anything, which is like the big part of the strat. Because healing items are expensive, and if we just have 3 tanks that can't die, that don't take any damage, that's just huge for us.
So this is the floor that you were looking for the cockatrices or the chirpbirds for Preucheu. This is the floor to be on. This is the the beginning of where they show up at. So it's what we're looking for, keeping an eye out just to defend and have the fighters get petrified here.
Also, rule of thumb is all quick save after every few encounters, because the risk is with us just standing there getting hit by the cockatrices. Hey, we got 2. They of course also can hit the black mages, and they of course can also petrify the black mages. I said as the black mage got hit twice and luckily not petrified. Oh my lord, Preucheu really is not getting what he wants today, and the jerk birds being jerk birds.
There we go. There's one for the warrior.
Yeah, but
now, this is a little bit more riskier. You might want to think, okay, maybe do I run? Do I stay? Am I going to risk it? Because if the black mage gets petrified, then you're just there with the monk, and your flee RNG could be kind of bad, and you get hit, then that can ruin the run. Or are you just going to bonk them and try to get out of there fighting?
Yeah, there's definitely a chance that in this situation the monk gets petrified, he tries to attack with the black mage, but the black mage gets petrified before it can cast, and it's a game over. So you definitely want to save often on this floor. One petrified black mage usually is still okay, since most players, I think at least, buy at least 2 gold needles at this point, so they have one that we definitely need later, and one for safety in case a black mage gets petrified. But the jerk birds finally behaved, petrified the monk, and Preucheu has exactly what he wants.
Okay.
Some people buy only 1, that is a fair chance, but I personally can just say, I personally am really in favor of buying 2. Although
Same.
you could buy 1, and then in case you need it, then unpetrify the black mage, and then just at some point in the future buy a second one. That also is an option, or you just get lucky and drop from the cockatrices.
So Preucheu is making about to fight vampire right now, so you want at least 1 charge for your fire raga as you have both your black mages use it, trying to get vampire down, and 1 turn. See how it works out.
Hits the statue, no damage dealt, fire raga hits, and the vampire goes down.
There it is.
That's the power of mages. That's why we use 2 of them.
So thanks, as you can see in the chat, helping out. A lot of the Final Fantasy 1 speedrunning community is in here. Being helpful as always. Yeah, so you would want to get at least level 12 so you can get your fire raga charges for vampire. And then as we leave Earth Cave, to go ahead, we just got the ruby, so we're leaving Earth Cave to give it to a golem to get out of our way so we can make our way and go get a rod and come right back into Earth Cave for Lich, to where we would need level 15 to get our extra charges for Lich.
Yeah, a bit unlucky there that the black mage got killed, but Preucheu always on the quick saves and no problem there. Just a few handful of seconds wasted instead of losing minutes. Quick save, people. The game enables it, so please do it.
Oh.
And Trinton, is he
Change
going?
for Trinton, yes. Going over for the silver armlet.
That is definitely a choice if you have the good money to just grab that silver armlet. Extra defense for your for one of your black mages of choice can definitely make a huge difference.
And like we said with the random encounters, a lot of good money going on for Trinton with the Buccaneers and the Ogres. So it really worked out to have that extra money. So hopping up there to get that extra little protection with the silver armlet was a good call.
It is a choice, personally, though. I personally, at this position, when I get the good money, I just get extra resources, so I need less money for the next one, and can just have max resources at the last shopping in Gaia. Is what I personally like to aim for, but hey, extra safety for a race can never hurt. The worst thing that can happen to you during this race is dying. We're about
It's always
to have
amazing to see those different kind of strategies that everybody has. Some people do this, some people do that, and it's all beneficial. It's just reacting and weathering the storm. Like, what are you going to run into? What's going to happen, and how to react accordingly.
We're also about to have a high five for our runners as Preucheu is leaving Earth Cave right now, as Trinton is making his way down. So, yeah, as Steve already mentioned. As Steve already mentioned, we're after killing the vampire and getting the ruby, we want to head out again because right after the vampire is a seal, sealed by a earth staff, earth rod, something of the like, which we have to get now first. But we sadly couldn't get it earlier because we need the ruby in order to get to where the staff is located. So a little bit of back and forth. So as soon as we're out of here, we're just gonna get the staff and go right back in, because we're heading next for Lich, who's going to be the first of the big four, because he is the one contaminating the Crystal of Earth.
So Trinton made his way over to the cockatrice's floor. So we're going to be keeping an eye out again for these birds. Hopefully get a good petrify for them.
Now, yeah, he did actually manage to get his fighter killed. Now,
That'll be some good experience.
The interesting question here right now is the experience, of course, is great. But it's also just me wondering right now, why is that fighter still dead down here? Because of course you could just petrify the monk and then just petrify the fighter later, as you come back here for the second run, but that would be a little bit of a gamble, because that would mean you would actually have to find 2 pairs of cockatrices.
So you technically have 3 opportunities to get petrified here. Your first time in the Earth Cave, your second time in the Earth Cave, and over at Ice Cavern. So could be using that experience strategy to get the 3 up there, and not too worried about the petrification.
We'll see how it ends up. Nightshade suggesting that he might just get him rest as the birds show up. Options. There are options. Ice Cavern is also an option, although I just wanted to say it, though I think they are quite rare in there, but no, I think they're also part of Forced Encounter. Though that Forced Encounter can go south quickly in that position. So, that is a choice, it is a risk, if it takes. Again, the beauty of this game, everyone can have a little bit of a different idea, a little bit of a different strategy, but it's always double-edged. What saves you time at one point will most certainly lose you time at another.
It's definitely a riskier strategy, but sometimes, hey, the game kind of lays out what it has, and you kind of got to either sit there and grind for it, or accept the cards that was played and continue on through it. As chat mentioned, it is definitely harder. Lich will hit hard if you're not petrified. It's not impossible, of course, but it's pretty difficult.
Yeah, also to also interact with chat a bit more, we just had the question that we see every single one of these races, basically. Do we unpetrify? Well, the full idea is to keep the fighter permanently petrified. Oh, also before I explain that, lesser targets for Preucheu. Does he get the X potion? Does he not? Does he save some time or gain extra safety for the final boss?
Oh, there it is.
There. That is great luck for Preucheu. That is always welcomed.
You got 2 of them as well. None. Wow. Didn't just get 1 X potion, which is rare in itself. Got 2 of them. I was hesitant because I didn't see.
There were 3 enemies, and each of them has a chance to drop them.
Very true. Wow.
So that is super, super huge. Because that basically means that he can take all the time in the world against Chaos, because he has the extra heals. That was just the question, how many heals does he gonna pick up with? Because I personally have to say, if I would have gotten 2 X potions, I would skip both the Dragon Cavern X potion and the elixir in Chaos Shrine. I would just run with the 2. And
that is a choice as well. You have your options. So Preucheu kind of runs into a situation here. Are you going to run with those 2x potions and go up against Chaos? Or are you going to stop in the Chaos Shrine and grab your elixir for some extra safety? It's going to be interesting to see what he goes with.
Those are the questions we're going to see later. All right, so now that we've taken care of that, back to the topic. Petrification. So we want to keep the fighter petrified for the entire run to just be a damage sponge. Because, again, in the first slot, you have a 50% chance to get hit by something, by normal attacks. So half of the time someone attacks, normally he's going to hit the fighter. So having him petrified the entire time is, especially at later fights where enemies do 2, 3, 4, 500 damage with a single attack, is definitely the point where you really appreciate when half of the time that just doesn't deal any damage, and you basically just get 3 turns. And with the monk, yeah, we're gonna petrify him for now, so that he also works as a tank for us. He will, due to the coding in this game, still get experience while petrified, which is huge for us. Because what we want to do later on is we want to unpetrify him during Tiamat 2, or whenever you personally prefer. Because in the end of the game, our goal is to just get a lot of buff spells and a buff item, and then just spam those buffs onto the monk to make him hit for 2,000 to 5,000 damage a hit, which will be huge.
So for those that are just coming in, just to see, Trinton is a little bit behind due to, unfortunately, choosing a thief at the beginning of the game. Didn't realize it for a little bit and restarted. So Trinton is working their way back up to catch up to Preucheu, but that's the reason why there. And we do have a question. Is there anything that can injure a petrified character? No, there's not. The petrified character will technically receive an attack or such, but it will miss. And the petrified character still gains experience and is there. So there's really nothing at all. There's no status effects. There's nothing that can really KO a petrified character.
Yeah, we'll see later they can receive damage, which we will see during Mount Golk as we walk through the lava. You'll often enough see him drop down to 1 HP, but even while walking through the lava then, where usually you should die in that point, he doesn't even die, or I don't even know if the lava can kill you or if it just keeps you at 1 HP, but case in point, he doesn't die, even standing in lava.
So good ogre fights, that's always good to have. Decided to flee from it.
And meanwhile, we have the opposite again. Trinton now leaving Earth Cave to get his Earth Rod, while Preucheu is making his way down to Lich. Which is still at this point of the game a very dangerous enemy. Since our black mages, his black mages in particular, did develop rather nicely, with HP upgrades being a little bit on the random side. Every few levels, you get a certain chance that they get a big HP up, which happened a good few times for his first black mage, sitting at 175 HP, which is huge for this point. But yeah, even with that, Lich could still just show up and be like, I don't like you today. Die. So we'll see if that happens. Lich can definitely cost Preucheu some time if Lich just doesn't want to be. And we have a question. I'll let you handle that one, Steve. At what point can Trinton catch up?
So Trinton has plenty of opportunities to catch up in this game. They might be seeming kind of far apart right now, and it's not that bad. But this game can go in any way at any time, and so for some of those locations can be what's happening to Preucheu here shortly is going up against Lich. Lich might be super nice and let him through, or can just Lich has a lot of heavy AOE's and can just wipe your party completely. So it's just depending on how nice the bosses are. And so to answer that question even easier is just a lot of the bosses. So we'll see how they treat him and give an opportunity for Trinton to catch up.
Yeah, the mid game usually, so what most people say is up to Lich, So about the first hour of the run is the early game. After Lich is done, you have the mid game, which is basically free. Nothing really can happen. You can lose a little bit here and there, depending on RNG and encounters and etc., etc. But nothing really huge can happen during the mid game. Most things are very, very secure, as long as you keep your saves up in case something bad happens. Actually, a decent Lich fight here, and
very good Lich fight going on. Low HP on the Black Mage, but did a nice haste on the turn, so Lich is being kind so far. Oh,
speaking too
decided
soon. But one
just
dead Black
decided to
Mage.
take the Black Mage with him.
Dead Black Mage ain't the worst fight. And then to continue on, the mid game usually we say ends around Kraken. Which will be Sea Shrine, and then as soon as we go up against Tiamat, a little bit more RNG comes into the place, and then for Tiamat and the Chaos Shrine with the Fiend Refines, and especially Chaos, can have a lot of RNG, can go really good, really bad, can cost minutes, and then Chaos himself has proven a few times already that he can make a race by just keeping the one runner for 10 minutes at bay as they struggle to get anywhere. More tigers.
Here we go with Preucheu, another opportunity for even more X potions. Is it gonna work out? Okay, that was it. How lucky can Preucheu get? Already with 2 times on the X potions.
So yeah, this race is still very, very open. So also to talk a little bit more about HP, since I just touched on that. There is a reason we fight everything. The first reason, of course, being fighting gives experience, which is great, etc., etc. We need the money. Experience are nice to have. Second reason being with the Black Mages just being able to kill everything in 1 to 2 spells, it more often than not is just faster to kill everything than trying to flee from enemies. And the third reason being Chaos. The final boss of this game is a little bit unique, a little bit different, I'd say, to a point where we want to have all the safety we can have for this fight only, which is why what we want to see is around 240 to 250 HP minimum on our Black Mages, as well as around 350 to 400 HP on the Monk. So usually what many runners do is they just fight and more fights until they have these HP values and then start running from everything. Because if you have lower values than these, there is a very, very high chance that Chaos is just going to be a brick wall that you punch a bunch of times, hurt yourself, until you maybe finally get one punch back. And break that wall down. So, Preucheu here closing in on Crescent Lake. Crescent Lake, our second big shopping trip, where we're going to get more spells. We're going to buy, for both of our Black Mages, the spell of Fandaga, which is definitely going to be helpful for the next bit of the game, because we're going to fight against a lot of water-based enemies, which are weak to thunder. And then he's going to stock up on items. Mainly on, first he's going to stock up on items and keep the money. Mainly going to buy ethers and high potions, maybe a few Phoenix Downs and antidotes along the way. Actually going
and to kind of recap on the whole, going back to the health portion of that, is that you're kind of looking for some thresholds here, at least for Chaos. You would kind of want your Black Mages to be into like the mid 200s, the 300s, anything above at least 250. The more the better, of course, but you're diving in. And your Monk more into the mid to high 300s or higher. So as you're going along, so if you kind of see yourself progressing towards that, you can kind of choose. You don't want to really fight everything. That will take up time and resources as well. Is like more of when you hit the thresholds that you want for the specific areas in the game. You can start fleeing more. Be like, okay, I don't need these fights, or kind of picking your fights. Which ones give more experience? Which one gives more money? What do I need in my current situation where I am in the game?
In the end, it's all one big guessing game of how's it gonna go. And sometimes you just be like, I'm still so far away from that threshold, I'm just gonna risk it. Then you kill the next boss, suddenly get enough for a level up, and suddenly get a huge HP up that gives your character 20-30 extra HP, and you're just like, thank you, game. I didn't even think about this happening anymore. I gave up hope, and then the game gives it to you. Because, of course, the game does.
Yeah. If you haven't caught on to the theme here, the trend of it is RNG. It's so your level ups, your the health you receive for every level up, RNG. Your intelligence, your strength, your agility, like everything it's not a script, it's not set. So just kind of keep an eye out, like how close am I to the next level? Should I go for that next level to try to get the HP up? We've seen a couple runs throughout this tournament to where we have black mages with more health than the warrior.
Poor
it just happens that way.
Poor Preucheu here, by the way, running into a white croc. Red crocs, great enemies in this area, but they have a very, very high attack, and if they actually choose to hit the black mages, they most certainly will die. And he just had it happen twice.
So for the Pixel Remaster, they decided to change things up. Instead of having specific zones of where these enemies will appear, they decided, all right, throw them all together. And so at any time you can get some very high-end enemies in here. It's pretty much a big change in the difficulty spike.
Yeah, specifically they have you have the South Continent and the North Continent split it on the land, and usually you had the North and South Continent split it also on enemies in the water when you're canoeing, but those were the ones that were just thrown together.
So we have a question in chat. So why keep the black belt stoned? So the thing is that you're still gaining experience, and we're not really utilizing the monk for single targets. We're using our black mages to do big AoE spells. So we have sometimes 9 enemies on the board, and the monk just attacking one is pretty much more of a time loss. So and to include, you want to save your resources as well. The more, if it wasn't for the black mage, the monk being petrified, the monk will start taking more damage, and that's more health. That's possibly Phoenix Downs. There's a lot of opportunities that you just want to kind of avoid. So keeping them both stoned helps.
Yeah, it definitely helps with the resources, because as Steve just said, he will get damaged, he will take damage, and then of course you can't keep him at 5 HP, but you have to heal him, which means more expenses on healing items, and even when fighting, it wouldn't really help. And the other thing also is, in every single fight, you would have to assign an action to the monk. And just having the black mages, of course, doing their spells, if you were to set it up instead, you would have to, every time you change spells on the black mages, you would have to press defend again on the monk, which of course only takes a second, but do that 20 times and you lost 20 seconds over having the monk not petrified. And sure, having him alive would help at some points, for example, like here again, when everyone dies, but that you have to consider again is a fairly rare occurrence. Because, again, at the coding of the game, there is a 12.5% chance for each of the black mages here to get hit. There is a 25% chance for the monk to get hit, and a 50% for the fighter, because it goes from top to bottom. The top one would have the highest aggro at this point to be set, the highest chance to get targeted, and just the deaths here generally were just really unlucky plays where even the monk really wouldn't have made a difference.
We're making our way over to Trinton here, going up against Lich. Big AoE automatically goes off.
That is a bad start for him, but that doesn't have to mean end. There's the second one.
like we mentioned before, Lich is a milestone to get past. It's the AoEs are very, very strong. What you're really looking for is more maybe a buff or a debuff or a physical attack on the warrior. It's yeah, you want a minimum amount of AoEs to continue through to get your fire rockets off.
What was it that Mutski sung again in his song? Welcome to Final Fantasy Speedrunning. Very recommended watch, by the way. And other times Blizzara kills us all. Referring to Lich. Because Lich just like that sometimes. But that again is the beauty of Pixar Remaster. We have quick saves. We can save whenever and wherever we want. And at that point, it's just a question, are you actually doing that? Or are you being lazy? Because if you're being lazy, then you're of course getting punished for it. That's also, again, the double-edged sword we were talking about so many times already. You can waste 3 to 4 seconds to quick save, but if you lose these 3 to 4 seconds, that could save you literal minutes in case something bad actually happens. And
Lich down. Lich is down. Unfortunately, got some low rolls going on with the Fire Ragas and couldn't finish it with the 6. So had to finish it off with a Thundara there, but only had apparently 86 HP left. Lich trying to hold on as much as it could, but
yeah,
Trinton came out on top.
Trinton with the 104 Lich. Still a respectable time. The 1 hour barrier on Lich as a split is usually for the beginners where they aim to the first big hurdle to overcome. Obviously with Trinton, with having the bad early game, etc., etc., it's definitely still a decent time with what the game's throwing against Trinton. Meanwhile, Preucheu coming up to the Evil Eye, which is a very, very famous enemy in the Final Fantasy 1 community. Just not in this game. As in other versions, he would just infinitely respawn every time you step on his tile, being a amazing grinding spot. For us, he just shows up once, we kill him, we grab the key item, and we're out of there. Because it wouldn't really be worth it even if we could. It probably would, because it would be faster than killing everything random, but we take what we can get. So Preucheu now, at basically the end of Ice Cave, he killed the Evil Eye, he got the Levy Stone, which he will now bring to a desert in the south, to then hand it into an airship, which makes us way more mobile. We will not see any more Buccaneers or other water encounters from then on, because luckily there are no air encounters on the airship. Well, as well, just being quicker on our feet. And then first thing he's going to do with that is going to do a supply run, pick up all the buffs, and then we'll see how he continues on from there, because there are a few different things you can do, depending on what route you run, what you have.
Preucheu over here with some white dragons. Took them out earlier in the game, but that's just something to watch out for. They are no joke.
I mean, they killed him once. The blue-eyed white dragon.
Preucheu making a way back through the very, very evil river here. The white crocs are something to look out for. Hopefully... Oh, speaking of...
I mean, you technically want to see white crocs, because while they are very dangerous, you can also just be easily killing them with a few casts, and they are 2,000 gil and 1,800 experience, which is a good chunk. Not at this point, it's not...
strategies on that. Usually you'll see some people run away from the white crocs, single target ones, or by themselves. Usually when they're in their group, some people take those as well.
They are great money and experience. I take them all the time. Especially after I get to the 30-in threshold, where a single Thundara will kill them without any doubt. Alright, Preucheu finishing his Ice Cave trip, going back through the canoe. Meanwhile, Trinton getting the canoe. We're probably going to see another high five in a second.
I just think it's so interesting they chose that specific NPC to give you the canoe. They're all the same, and the one person you would think, okay, this one's different. Let me go ahead and talk to this one first. Nope, that's not the one to get it. Just a random guy to the right.
I personally have to say, Pixel Remaster was the first time I actually played Final Fantasy 1, and I got stuck at this point of the game, simply because I knew there is a canoe somewhere that I can take up the rivers, but I have no idea where to get it, because I thought on the top right of Crescent Lake, if I were to wander over that bridge, that would just be another load zone to take me out of the world map. I never really checked that. I never seen that sub area in that position, and so I never got the canoe. And I was just wandering around for hours until I actually looked up, and I was like, "You can actually go past there." I just facepalmed so hard on that.
Well, I do like chat's take on it. Is as a developer all the lore involved in it is that you want the player to get as much lore and experience into the game. So I do like that thought that having the canoe given to you on the right side, most people will talk to the first NPC they see and go clockwise, and ending it with that. So you got all the lore and the talk and everything, and then you leave with the canoe. I do like that take.
That is a very interesting theory, I have to admit. Alright, Preucheu with his funny little airship. Enjoy the music, we're gonna hear it a lot. And Preucheu actually making his way to the Dragon Cavern. Is going to pick up the explosion, maybe some of the extra money lying in here. So Preucheu already having 3 full heals for the final boss fight.
Interesting.
I mean,
I wonder if Preucheu's going to pick up the elixir as well. 4?
I mean, as I said earlier already, you want to have as much safety as possible going into Chaos. There were way too many times for me personally already where he was literal 1 hit away from chaos, from death, and my monk only had 200 HP left at that point, and I didn't have any healing obviously anymore, and he just did a flare or cyclone and killed him immediately. That was just would just be the point. You really would like it.
I mean, the thought of one-shotting Chaos does sound pretty nice. So every little bit of safety measure to get it. This is a tournament, so doing what you have to do to make sure to get that win. I don't blame the strategy.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, it's also convenient that there is a bunch of money right next to that, so maybe that was the inspiration against it. I mean, it's about 10,000-15,000 gil that's just lying right next to it, taking a few seconds to pick up. Maybe that was his intent for going there in the first place. They did it more for the money. That would be interesting questions to write down to ask for after the race.
Of course.
Or maybe he didn't even notice he got 2 explosions. That would also be an option, that he just saw, oh cool, explosions, didn't check the number.
Well, maybe they didn't even see it at all. Maybe they had no idea. Didn't like, oh, I missed it. Did I get the potions or not?
I doubt. That I doubt.
I will be honest, that happens to me quite a bit. I'm just like, oh, did I get the longsword or not? I didn't check. Nah.
I mean, of course, with some things like the longsword or the leverage field, you don't really check for it because you don't really expect it. But the lesser tigers are just an enemy that you always look for because you always know it can happen any second. And you have more than just one chance. Just saying again, with again, percentage, I think 2, 3, 4, 5%, something on that line. Again, if you have that per enemy, that chance already skyrockets for you personally. The more you kill, the higher a chance, after all.
Of course. So we have Preucheu here on the right side picking up the cube. This will get us access from the Mirage Tower up to the floating castle? The floating... Apologies, I forget the terminology.
Sky Fortress, one of those. And also, in these chests, he's going to find our first ribbon. Which, ribbons are great. Ribbons are awesome. Decent bit of defense, half all elemental damage. All magic damage, I think, even, not just elemental. But then again, are there damage kinds that aren't elemental and aren't magic? Doesn't really matter. I mean, yes, flare, I guess. Doesn't really matter. So there are 3 ribbons in total in the game. We will actually grab all 3. We will go a teeny tiny bit out of our way for the other 2, but it's definitely worth it. Simply just, of course, because of the halved elemental damage, half magic damage. Can anyone in chat actually confirm that for me? Which is this? This is bothering me right now.
See here. Trinton making their way through Eyes Cave. Pretty consistent. Got the warrior up. Looking to get petrified here, as this is going to be the last opportunity to get the warrior petrified. So hopefully it'll work out for him. And if not, might have to stay back a little bit and grind to make sure to get that petrification.
I mean, there are some encounters where it's guaranteed. In worst case, he could, when he drops down after killing the evil eye, that encounter is mostly guaranteed to have some cockatrices.
Very true.
But it's also a very annoying encounter since it's 9 enemies. So it's very annoying to deal with and try to get for the 2 or 3 cockatrices that can be in there. Which they aren't actually in this fight. I probably messed that one up with the fixed encounter just outside of the cube. Since we just had that on the other screen. Or I just got unlucky that there are no cockatrices in there. Anyways, yeah. Trinton probably a little bit scared here about not finding any cockatrices yet. Will be interesting to see how he handles it. If he's just going to grind them out in the end, or if he's just saying, I'm trying. Which, to be fair, I wouldn't know how. Then again, there is the Masamune, I guess, and Chaos Friend that he could just casually grab, put on the fighter, if he can even wear that. Ooh, the Ice Wolves, though.
Yeah, those AoEs, they're just, they don't hit too hard, but just the amount of quantity, it just keeps on coming at you. Yep, and there it is.
Now's the big question. When was his last autosave? Did he autosave? He did not. He has to do the entire room again. He was close to the exit of that room. Now he's back to the start. Meanwhile, Preucheu in Gaia, where he's going to do the final shopping of the game, grabbing some more defensive items, and his last stack of healing items. Before then getting the Oxyale, I can never remember, from the ferry.
I believe it's Oxio.
And then we're also heading down soon for Preucheu to the Sunken Shrine, to the Sea Shrine, which is home to the Rosetta Stone or the Slab, or whatever the heck it also was called in other games.
I believe it was Rosetta Stone in this one, Slab in the
Rosetta.
previous ones. We got a ribbon to acquire in there, and I believe a diamond armlet, which we will need, and then, of course, Kraken.
Trinton against some mean Piscos again, killing the fighter again. And already commentating in chat again, now the game's just being mean.
Final Fantasy 1? Mean? No.
It is a choice with the fighter to keep him down that long. And now White Dragon's killing him again.
White Dragons.
The game's
man.
really out for him right now. The game really is out for him. Getting quite annoying here.
Trinton staying strong, though. Resiliency and making their way through it and keeping at it.
Yeah, we'll definitely see about that. Alright, Preucheu is readying his dive to the Sunken Shrine, to the Sea Shrine, to whatever it's called again, Sunken Shrine. So our first goal on the first room is to go to the top right, where we could take the stairs. Up, down, up. The stairs up. to the upper floors, then head to the bottom right of this floor to reach the Mermaid Village, in which we'll get the aforementioned Diamond Armlet and the key item of the Rosetta Stone, before then heading back to the starting room that we just started in, and then heading top left to go the stairs down, deeper into the shrine, on his way to Kraken, who will be our second fiend. He is the one corrupting the water crystal. And funnily enough, we're doing things a little bit out of order here, because originally the second fiend is Marleth, corrupting the crystal of fire, sitting in the volcano of Mount Gulk. Though, yeah, we just don't like that. We don't take that.
If I'm not mistaken, over there for Trinton side of things, I think there is well, I think they're called Pyralisks, but still they're birds that can petrify. I believe after we finish this Evil Eye fight, going down into the hole will give you a forced encounter with some of these birds. So I think this is the strategy if Trinton goes and uses the Phoenix down.
Nah, that fight you do twice, and if you see it the first time, it's always fixed, and that's what I mentioned before already. It's just zombies. Just zombies and ghosts. No cockatrices in there. He does have technically two more chances. There should be cockatrices in the forced encounter in Waterfall Cave, together with some Pyralisks and mummies, right in front of the cube. And I think the exact same encounter with Pyralisks, cockatrices, and mummies also in the sunken shrine in the trap chest that contains the Giant's Gloves.
Yeah, so still some opportunities for Trinton. So at least we're seeing the Black Mages here getting super beefy. Good experiences and doing. So it's still can work out.
Generally, even if you look at the HP thresholds, depending on the luck you get with the HP rolls, you mostly end around level 27 to 31 if you really grind hard 31. So it actually will be interesting to see, keeping the fighter dead for half the game, what levels his characters can actually reach. Or if he stops early doing that, then.
Remorazes. Took him out this time.
At least this time he saved a few steps before. But yeah, Trinton, game really not behaving well on him. Really not doing great there. But that's just the game sometimes. Game being really rough right now, oh boy.
I believe Preucheu on the right side here is coming up to these said forced encounters here. And there they are. These are the birds that you'll be looking for another chance to get petrified, in Trinton's case, if you're not already.
Though, yeah, just having the fighter dead again, there is a higher risk here, because the AoEs are very annoying, yes, but just simply by having the dead fighter in the second slot, his attacks will get the attacks that would hit the fighter now would get rerouted, which gives just a higher chance for the Black Mages to get hit by single target attacks in general also.
And there we go on Preucheu's side of things. Got the other ribbon, getting that equipped. Getting self ready for Kraken. Hey Hob, what would you say to where would you kind of want your threshold at this level be coming up to Kraken for like health?
Around Kraken, I personally have to say, at worst case, I would want to have both Black Mages hit 200 and the Monk hit 300. That would be like the bare minimum I really would love to see here. In optimal case, of course, I'd already have my Mages at 250 plus and my Black Mage at 350 plus and would stop fighting here, which has happened to me before and was really nice, change of pace, but that's just the runs that you don't get every day when you actually get all the high rolls.
Now, of course, I usually start paying attention more to the threshold when I get up to like Tiamat. But yeah, as I'm going into these things, I'm thinking, okay, what should I have at this threshold? What should I have at that threshold? Should I start fleeing more? Do I need to fight more to get there?
That's all the difference. Of course, if you, like me, just fight everything that sets it, that dares standing in your way, you will have some fights that aren't really experience efficient. You will have to take more fights in general than when you were than if you would wait to late game. But then you would have the late game earlier and would know, aha, I have enough now and I can run. And you don't have the chance of getting into a situation of, now I haven't fought that much, now I'm in the end game and I don't have anything I can do, basically, except for eventually grind more encounters. Meanwhile, Preucheu... Oh... Meanwhile, Preucheu coming up to Kraken, I was just about to say the least threatening of the fiends. Yeah, Kraken can only do two things. He can spray the party with ink, which can make them blind, which we don't care about because we wear ribbons, so we can't be affected by status effects. Or he can normal attack. Both of these actions have a 50% chance of happening. Hitting the Black Mages, again, 12.5% chance. And he's quite weak. All we need are 6 casts of Fandagas, so 3 by each mage. He goes down. Very unlucky start, good Phoenix down, and then definitely went better there.
Trinton on the left side got their airship. Gonna start prepping and making their way. Most likely over to the islands as well, maybe get some max potions and...
Yeah, Preucheu now, what he wants to do next is to head back to Melmont, the city just outside of Earth Cave, to get his, well, he actually does some more shopping. Probably wasn't happy with what he had before, just maxing out Ether's Eye potions. Definitely a choice that is worth taking, but now he is going to go over to Melmont to get the Rosetta Stone translated by a random archaeologist guy that's possessed with ancient things and lost civilizations, etc., etc. And then within the span of 20 seconds, he's going to teach us an entire language, which will be Luthenian, which we then will use to, well, go to Luthenia, the ancient and lost kingdom, or city-state, or whatever it is. And at that point, then, we'll just go there real quick to grab a chime, which gives us access into Mirage Tower at first. And then we're going already to head to Tiamat, Preucheu closing in on the end game.
I would like to say for anybody that's looking into running, if you create notes or have notes or anything, bold it, underline it, make it a font of 78, whatever you need. Don't be like me and make your way over to Lefaria and not have that thing translated. It's nothing worse than flying over there and realizing that you can't read the language.
There are some mistakes. There are some mistakes just that everyone is going to do at some point. Don't be ashamed of it. We all know, we've all been there. We've all been at very, very annoying places and very, very sad places where we did wrong things. It's a thing that comes with speedrunning. Sometimes you're just in that mindset and, well, you don't think think enough about it. And then stuff like that happens. It's completely normal. And if anyone who plays certain games for a certain amount of times would come towards you and say, "Hey, I've never done this stupid mistake before," they'd either not actually have as many hours as you'd expect from them, or they'd be lying.
Here we go.
Preach getting his chime, Trinton going to buy his steroids as well as the bottled fairy. Also, yeah, we haven't even touched on that. So there's a merchant in the desert that we buy a bottled fairy from, which is part of a quest for us to bring it to Gaia, set it free, etc., etc. But after we buy the bottled fairy, he will sell us steroids in the form of giant tonics, strength tonics, speed tonics, and I don't even know what the fourth one was. That doesn't matter. They do as you would expect. Giant tonic increase our max health. Strength tonics would increase our strength. Speed tonics would increase, or speed drinks would increase our speed, etc., etc. They're basically X items from Pokemon, just in Final Fantasy. They would just last for one fight only, and only until you died, etc., etc. And what we want to get there are 3 giant strings, which will increase the max HP of a character of our choice by 200 points each. And after that, also free of choice, a handful of speed drinks, which will be coming in handy for final boss for Chaos.
So pretty much the growth tonics are going to be used for moving. You want the monk to have as much health as possible. We're looking to get the monk up to 999. And then once that's the max HP is increased, then you would want to use, well, at least in Preucheu's, any of the possible 4 full healths with the X potions or elixir, and just getting the monk's HP up to constantly deal with these chaos attacks. So the more the better. And then if the black mages are still alive, use the speed drinks.
Yeah, I personally say we touch on that again as we're getting there, since we still have a good 20-30 minutes of game left till that actually happens. So some people might not be here yet and come in later, or some bites may forget. So we'll touch upon that again once it happens, and when we see if chaos is going to be chaos or actually, well, not as chaos. Trinton now heading over to the Sea Shrine. I think, do you catch Trinton going to Waterfall Cave yet?
I have not, actually.
I think he actually does that later then. So he actually goes with the strat of just straight going for the Sea Shrine, killing Kraken, and only then grabbing the cube, which, I mean, is definitely a choice. It's definitely a choice you can make. That way you have a little bit less money as you try to get everything that you might need. So you might not get everything that you want.
Probably really focused right now to get that warrior petrified.
That is a fair point, but I mean both locations can do that. In both locations have a forced fight that is exactly the same with 3 mummies, 3 pyrolists, 3 cockatrices.
And we see Preucheu over here making their way over to the final ribbon of the game, getting the 3 needed for it. And there it is. Now, are we going to talk about the big guy in the room? Do you think it'll happen?
As I get the feeling, Wombix J is waiting just for me.
Here he goes.
So yeah, we're closing into the later part of Sky Fortress, where we have a long hallway on the run to Tiamat, who is our next boss. And on that way, there is a very rare chance for a super boss of the game to appear, which is Warmeg. If it happens, I guess we'll see if any of our runners would actually try to fight it, which probably is pointless against Warmech because we're just not suited for that. If they try to run away or if they just straight up Alt F4 at that point.
You gotta go for it.
It is very, very, very rare to happen, and we've already had it happen once during the hype race, so
very true.
More Warmechs can always happen. Get your Warmech, Bless Arm Warmechs or whatever in, because the Warmech is waiting for no one.
Let's see it.
All right, we're here.
This is the room that we need. Is Warmech going to show up? There's one more chance for it.
Yeah.
We didn't get it on the first try. There is an opportunity for a second encounter before you get to Tiamat.
There is definitely enough way left for a second encounter. There it is, and also no Warmech. Preucheu gets off the hook without Warmech. Though I actually have to admit, I don't want to get the commentator's curse on anyone, but with the RNG Trinton has had during the run, I kind of already expect the Warmech.
I'm not gonna do the commentator curse, but I'm gonna do the commentator curse. And well, so it's it. That's it. Trinton's gonna get Warmech. It's gonna happen now. It's.
If he actually is gonna get it, then I'll send him a DM and I'll donate $20 to a charity of his choosing.
Ooh, I'll dive in on that. And here we go. We're Preucheu over there on Tiamat.
So yeah, we finally unpetrified the monk, and as we stated before, now he's just gonna get buffed, and even more buffed, to a point where he deals about 1,500 to 3,000 damage at this fight, and then takes Tiamat out in 1 or 2 hits. Tiamat, however, doesn't really like that, knows a lot of very mean AoE attacks, and can definitely be the downfall of the team fairly quickly. We will see how it goes. So far, he's been very kind. Everyone's still alive, throwing in some potions for safety. That's the best thing you can do here. Black Mage is down, Monk's still there, but it's down.
One shot, Tiamat.
2 shot.
2 shot?
2 shot. He did a 900 low roll before. Maybe even more. I only paid half attempts into the rolls, but he definitely did attack more than once. Tiamat here has, I think it was around 2,500 to 3,000 HP. Would have to actually open up the notes to check the exact values.
Oh, no, I meant more of like the first try, I should say. Not one shot.
Okay, that is very fair. Tiamat
terminology. I'll
Tiamat,
that up.
Yeah, Tiamat can definitely be a fight that already has you stuck on it for a few minutes. So yeah, with that, Preucheu just killed Tiamat, the fiend that was corrupting the crystal of air, or wind, whatever you want to call it, in that sense. And now he's gonna head over to Mount Golk. Now he's gonna head over to the volcano, where we're going to fight the last fiend, the fiend of corrupting fire, which will be Carrie, aka Marlith, aka whatever you want to call her. Just please, nothing kinky. Reminds me, I still have a channel point redemption to do on Steve's channel.
Oh. Anyways, moving on.
So,
we actually go back to the chat's comment. We actually, you'll see some effects actually happening to the petrified warrior here, and it's like the only thing that really happens to the petrified character is that you are on the lava. You are every step that you're taking, you are taking damage, and that does happen to the petrified characters, but it will not KO them.
Yeah. Also, a nice little thing. Usually, as you move around every X amount of steps, or between Y and X steps, you will get an encounter. The funny thing is, though, that these lava tiles actually do not advance that counter, which means what we try to do here is to stay on the lava for as long as we can, because it deals very low damage. We have enough healing items, and we just generally get lower encounter rates. That's what mostly why when he's getting out of the lava, you often will see him get an encounter, because that is the point when the game is like, okay, you've had your steps, here's your encounter.
And to clarify, Preucheu is not exactly fleeing from these because they met the threshold for health. It's more of the fact that these enemies don't really give a lot of good experience, so we're just pretty much running from all these. Nothing important here, just stay on the lava, make your way through as fast as possible, and flee from all encounters out to Merilith.
Yeah, as I said earlier, this is usually the second big boss you do, and just to clarify again, we already killed the other 3. So we already killed 2 more than we should at this point, so it's a very, very easy fight. Few buffs and then we'll actually kill her in one hit this time.
And after this encounter, we got Trinton making their way over to grab the encounter for the petrification. Merilith on the right side here isn't too much of an issue besides her physical attacks. She'll do some AoE spells, but they're not very strong, so we're not too worried about that. Just same strategy, buff up the monk, and go for it.
Oh
no.
He doesn't go for it.
Not here.
He actually doesn't go for it. That is interesting.
Are we thinking Mount Golg?
I don't think.
Or maybe the waterfall?
If then it's waterfall after this.
Has to be waterfall.
I mean, more experience for the others, especially with the low, with how low the monks' HP still are. Can definitely still need a push in that.
Then again, Trinton might have something new up their sleeve, something that we may have never seen before. Does Trinton know something we don't?
Maybe he comes up with something on the fly.
We'll see.
And yeah, Preucheu down with Merilith.
Preucheu on the way.
Yeah, Preucheu is now heading into the Chaos Shrine, the area where we were at the very, very start of the game and killed Garland. Because now with the power of the 4 crystals restored, we can talk to the ARP here in the center and begin where the story of this game becomes weird. Because now we can get sent back in time, where we're gonna meet Garland again, who then will turn to Chaos. Because Garland, as we killed him here, somehow opened a rift in space-time by the Fiends at the moment he died, which teleported him back in time, where then he proceeds to send the Fiends to the future, to then send him back in time, which is a time loop which no one knows how it really started. But it is where the game becomes confusing. But yeah, here in Chaos right now, we will find all 4 of the Fiends again, way stronger than before. And in the end, we have Chaos. In the community, we also like to call the place the Casino, because the 4 Fiends are fairly RNG heavy as already. They can definitely end your party and can definitely cause game over or 2 if they just say, I had a bad day and I'm leaving it all out on you. And then at the end of that, we have the Casino owner, which is Chaos, where we're, again, just going to buff up a bunch and then just set to attack and then just basically pray that we kill him before he kills us. And at this point, I just want to say, Preucheu still killing things here, even though he is in a very good spot. 320 HP on the monk is a little bit low, but definitely is acceptable. He will definitely take a few hits with that HP already. More HP always better, of course, but the mage is actually very well grown on 290 and 250 HP. That is very much where you want him to be.
Maybe hoping for at least one more level up. Maybe get a little bit extra cushion. May stop there, may continue.
To be fair, I probably would be doing the same at this point, but yeah. Now the big question again, though. After he's activated this, he has he still has a chance to pick up the chest in the top right, which contains an elixir, which would be his 4th full heal. Does he go for it or does he skip it?
Skips it.
To be fair, I would at this point as well. If three full heals aren't enough to kill Chaos, then the 4th one won't really be of any help. Because at that point, Chaos would have just set up more than enough to be in danger on himself.
Here we go on the left side for Trinton, making their way to Kraken. let's go ahead and see what happens. We're gonna have we're using Thundagas on Kraken just to get the fight done. We have Kraken once again has 50-50 chance on either using ink or a physical attack on a single target.
And Trinton already spoiling us by writing in chat before things happen.
No.
What is gonna happen to him now?
Oh,
The exact
that's
same thing
gonna
that
happen.
happened to Preucheu.
Oh, the suspense. The suspense was built.
Also, apparently he didn't equip the second ribbon yet, because his Black Mage got blinded. Which is a thing that usually shouldn't be able to happen. Also, very interesting strat. Oh no, okay, there's the death. Instead of what Preucheu did, just reviving, he did end up just going for it, trying to get enough damage in with Thundagas and then switching to Thundaras. It definitely is a choice. It could have worked out, but Kraken was like, nope.
And as you mentioned before,
right.
Hob, Kraken might be, even if it's the most kind or the easiest bosses, as you stated, it still doesn't guarantee. The chances of dying to Kraken is slow, but never zero.
Then again, he has a 50-50 to do attack or ink, but he actually has a little bit lower than that 12.5% chance to get hit per mage due to his fighter being dead. So it is a little bit higher of a choice. Also, Trinton reminded me one ribbon only, which, to be fair, right, I forgot he hasn't been to Waterfall Cave yet, so don't mind me.
But still, down, Kraken's finished, Trinton's moving on.
And meanwhile,
On the right side, we got Preucheu.
Coming up on Lich 1. So for now on, the rest of the fights, exact same pattern. Haste, Temper, Giant's Glove, turn 2, Giant's Glove, Temper, and then for turn 3, just sending it, attacking with the Monk, eventually throwing a few high potions on the Monk, depending on what the enemies do, and then just seeing every boss die in 2 or 3 attacks of the Monk.
Interesting strategy as well to have the Monk at the second spot still instead of down where it's safer on the 4th spot. But nevertheless, Lich down.
And he did actually get another HP upgrade. I just saw he's up to 350 HP from before being at 320. Definitely is already a huge upgrade and every single HP can make a huge difference in the Chaos fight. Sometimes it's just that 1 HP that decides if death or alive. So yeah, with Lich down, we're now on the fire floor, where at the end we're gonna see Marlif again. And he's still fighting. Very interesting to see.
Yeah, on an amazing pace. Great time. Still decides to keep buffing up. Same strategy up against Marilith.
Yeah, just to put still in perspective, Steve and I are sitting around 2.5 to 10 to 15-ish. I don't even know where you at. 2.15.
I'm actually 2 hours and 28 minutes, so...
Wait, we're not tied?
Yeah.
Whatever. Just to put that in perspective again, we're still fairly new. These 2 runners know what they're doing, and Preucheu definitely on a pace here to still get that sub 2 hour in, if the final bosses behave. But that's always an if you play this game. Yeah, Marlif being a little bit more mean, but also going down for Preucheu. Meanwhile, Trinton coming up to, I think, actually the last forced fight against some cockface, and he does have the fighter back alive right now. The question is, how is he actually going to deal that fight? It's a fight still with 9 very annoying enemies, and he really only needs 3 of them. So going to be interesting to see how is he going to try and handle that, because of course he can't AoE. Any AoE he does and they die, but also keeping all 9 of them. Yeah, I mean,
Yep, Thunders.
that is the only real call you can make here, because yeah, every AoE attack would just kill everyone here, and that's of course not what you want to see here. Though I would probably have started with the Pyrolisks instead of the mummies, as they are going down faster. And there he is petrified. Plan
Nice. You got it.
successful.
Switching back to AoEs and finishing off strong. Both our fighters are petrified and good to go for the rest of the game. Well, until sorry, hold on, until Tiamat.
But yeah, that is basically also what I was saying. Like, he now is sitting at comfortable HP already for the rest of the game, and he is putting into perspective just after Sea Shrine. So also for him, technically, right now, he could stop fighting at this point. Maybe go for a bit more safety, because 330 is not that much on the monk still. And again, every single HP can make a difference. So we might still keep going, but we'll see on that. Meanwhile, Preucheu coming up to Kraken 2. Just more of the same, but this time Kraken is a little bit more dangerous. Does actually know some spells, some more AoE attacks that can become dangerous if used too often.
Yeah, the second time around for the bosses, they come back with something extra in their sleeves. Some extra attacks, some extra spells.
A lot of extra health.
Definitely changes up now that we're here towards more of the end game. They do have extra health, and we're just still same strategy, buffing up the monk attacking, and moving forward.
Yeah, that's the power of unarmed fighting for the monk, as he does get a huge buff on his bare fist, and you can see the damage even after the amount of buffs is just unreasonably high for him not having any weapons. And he did actually drop something there from Kraken. I didn't quite catch what it was.
Apologies, same.
Didn't actually know that if the fiends could drop anything really. So that's.
I'm actually very curious. It could be somewhere in the game. I once acquired a healing helm. Not too sure where I got that from, but it was a drop.
You got eye drops. You got eye drops. It is kind of fitting for Kraken to drop eye drops, but that does seem so random. Alright, Preucheu coming up on Tiamat 2, the second to last fight of the game. He most likely will get one more random encounter after he's done with Tiamat, and then it is straight chaos. And then we'll see if the game is kind to Preucheu, or if Trinton will now actually have all the time in the world to catch back up and change the course of this race.
This fight is not over, ladies and gentlemen. We still have a fight on our hands. Preucheu does have quite a bit of a lead right now, but Chaos being Chaos can hold Preucheu up for a chance for Trinton to catch him.
Yeah, just to once again put to my first interaction really with this game, the Final Fantasy relay we had a few months ago. We had one of the free runners coming in 17 minutes behind and still being the first to actually beat Chaos. So there is nothing over yet. They are very experienced runners, but sometimes Chaos is just chaos. There's nothing you can do about it.
So what you're really looking for Chaos to do is mainly a single target physical attack on the warrior. Even like a single target slow on a warrior, or even like a black mage, just leaving the monk alone to get buffed up.
Yeah, generally
that's what you're looking for.
There are just two things, or three things you absolutely don't want to see, and that's haste on turn 1, flare, or slow on the monk. Those are the three things you really, really, really hope you don't see over the run.
Towards the end of the fight too, you got Karaja as a possibility, and bringing that back up.
Definitely. So we're starting off with the Giant's Tonic, boosting the Monk's HP by 600 points, all the way up to 991, then fully healing him up and starting to buff. First AoEs come in, low damage AoEs, not really a problem. This is a good start for Preucheu, but the start doesn't determine anything at this fight. More low roll AoEs. This fight is really going decent. Some speed drinks already to boost up the Monk a little bit further.
With the Monk's still alive, it's always good to keep on having them support the Monk. So as long as possible, just with speed drinks and tempers and anything that you can do to buff up the Monk more and more. You don't have to worry about them staying alive.
Preucheu really getting a decent fight here. All the low roll AoEs. Now now as he starts attacking for 2100, the monks go, the black mages go down. Haste from Chaos, that is potentially very dangerous, as that can easily doubles his normal attack damage from about 400 to about 800 damage with a single attack. If he single attacks the fighter, that the monk here, that can become really dangerous. Few buffs later, 3600 a hit. He's sending it now. He's at about 10,000 damage in already. Chaos coming in.
The big one.
Chaos coming in at 20,000 HP, but he has all the healing items. But Kiraja, ooh, that is really what you don't want to see. Kiraja immediately 10,000 damage that you dealt lost to time. That really is something that you don't want to see once you start attacking. And the flares coming out.
Preucheu does still have an extra X potion still. So still in the fight. Big attacks going off.
I'm not sure he has actually anymore.
Oh,
but
there it is anyways. GG.
That's time for Preucheu.
Sub 2 hours.
Where did I actually put the thing? Done. That was a great race. Ups and downs, but Preucheu definitely pulled through there. And definitely had a good start. Definitely a way better start than Trinton. That is a deserved victory.
Well played, Preucheu. Definitely took the more safety route. Picked up that extra X potion just in case. Ended up not even, I think might have used it right there at the end. But yeah, first try on Chaos.
That, or again, he didn't even notice that, which still is an option. But he still didn't notice that he had that left over. But again, those are the questions we're gonna get in a moment. As we try to actually get him in here.
Mm-hmm. So very shortly, we're going to be getting Preucheu into some post game. Any questions that you have for him, chat, feel free to let them know. Any questions, concerns, thoughts? Preucheu just getting ready, and we'll be in here momentarily.
Meanwhile, Trinton closing in on making his move up the tower whose name I forgot, which becomes Sky Fortress later. Names. Who needs names in a speedrun? We just want to know one thing, and that is the dime.
Flying Fortress. There it is.
Yeah, that's the further up part. What's the tower here?
Oh, Mirage Tower is here.
Now we're in Flying Fortress, though.
Yes.
And yeah, Trinton does go for some more kills, trying to get get that monk that little bit of extra HP that can make all the difference.
Trinton's also looking very good on the threshold here for HP.
Yeah, again, the black mages are looking very fine. The monk is a little bit lower than you really would want to.
True.
does a little detour, gets the diamond gloves, a little bit of extra safety. And of course, the detour, the other little detour for the ribbon. Ladies and gentlemen, there he is, Preucheu joined us.
Hey.
Welcome, welcome. So, Preucheu, first and foremost, one very, very big important question. Could you give us an accurate representation of what you were feeling and or yelling when you saw that explosion drop?
Excuse me, I didn't understand the end of the question.
How did you feel when you got your X potions for your lesser tigers?
Yeah, that's the first time I saw 2 explosions. I think I yelled, and I think I quick saved twice or maybe 3 times. It was unbelievable.
Sorry, definitely. Congratulations on that.
That definitely is a very rare one. But yeah, congratulations on the run. RNG was not kind to you often enough, but you pulled through.
Yes, the beginning was awful. I was really sorry. I yelled very much in the beginning, more than for the explosions. The crazy horses, the Trinton garland, it was, yeah.
The 59 damage crit that killed the Black Mage, that sure was something.
Yes. And
Did it cross your mind to pick up the elixir? You already had 3. You were safe on your X potions. Were you even considering grabbing the elixir early on, or did you just know instantly, yep, I'm going to go straight through, use the loot, and continue on? Did you even consider grabbing that elixir?
No. I usually ran with 2 explosions. Yeah, I got 3 because I wanted to be sure of the money, near the explosion in the Cardia Island. But no, the elixir, I never thought of picking it.
Right, but yeah,
good strategies, well played.
Free healing items definitely is something. We were speculating when you went for the Dragon Islands if you got there specifically for the X potion, or maybe just wanted to go there for the money.
It was I wanted to play safe, so mainly for the explosion, but I took the goal too.
I mean,
to
at
be
that
sure to have the 3 protect ring in Gaia.
I mean, at that point, might as well take it, right?
Yes, totally.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm relieved. Actually, it was my first race, my first tournament as a speedrunner, so I was maybe a bit nervous at the beginning, and how the start went, I was really nervous. But
happens
yes,
to the best of us. Just maybe also out of curiosity, were you following along the race? Were you watching Trinton's screen, or were you just sitting somewhere lonely and thinking, what has he already done? What is he so far ahead of me?
I wasn't watching Trinton, so I just wanted to focus on my run and go as fast as possible.
I mean, that is a good choice. That is a good choice. I personally, during these kind of races, also just like to just focus down. But then at some points, I'm just at the point, where is the other runner? What is he doing? Is he already ahead of me? That's just also the mind games these kind of tournaments bring with them.
Yeah.
For the other side of that as well, I'm actually usually in Discord calls with the racer that I think competition that I'm in with him. It is sometimes a distraction, and sometimes I need that distraction. So it's I can definitely see the pros of having that focus and no other distractions. You can focus on you and your race. Sometimes I get into my own head too much, and so being able to speak with the other racer definitely calms me down. So definitely no wrong way of going about it. To each their own.
Meanwhile, to also focus on the race, what is Trinton's plan here? He did finish off Tiamat, had both black mages die during that, and now he doesn't revive them. Now that is an interesting point to see again, how that is going to head out. Is he just gonna go somewhere, buy some Phoenix Downs? Does he even still have... No, he only had one Phoenix Down.
Oh.
That definitely would make sense then. But now he's only buying high potions on Eve, he's not now expressing high potions.
I was worried.
That definitely would have been something. There, the black mages come back. And
nothing worse than making your way all the way towards the end and you're at chaos and you have no high potions or one more thing that you needed.
Yeah, definitely, especially a recommendation if anyone wants to pick up the game. Before heading for Chaos, doing a pit stop in Cornelia to just buy 99 high potions, 99 ethers, 20 to 30 Phoenix Downs. It takes a little bit of time, but it's definitely worth the extra safety you get from it.
Once again, we see sticking to the lava, staying at not increasing that encounter rate, and just fleeing from every encounter.
Also, maybe to just point the finger at something obvious that we've been seeing all game, the Pixel Remaster also introduced something unique to Final Fantasy 1, which is diagonal movement, which over the entire course of the run steps hundreds and hundreds of steps, but especially here for the Mount Gold part, this is huge because you have some parts where you can just skip over a land tile by going diagonal from one lava tile to the other, which can definitely make a difference of 1 or 2 encounters over the entire cave.
Appreciate that. I gotta say that's an impressive run that you got. At least in my eyes, a sub 2 hours is very respectable. How long have you been running Final Fantasy 1? Pixel Remaster, at least.
Thanks first. I think I ran maybe for a little more than a month, a year ago. And then I came back for the tournament, and I don't know, I did maybe 10 to 15 runs before today's race.
That is respectable. That is very much respectable.
Yes, but the game is really great. The game can make you a bit mad or angry sometimes, but it's really a great game.
Oh, sure.
Anything you would like to say to the chat? Anybody that's looking to get into speedrunning Final Fantasy 1?
The game is great. The commentators are great. You can go. I don't know what to say. I mean, the game is not so difficult to learn. I mean, there's a lot of there's a major route, let's say, but it's mainly a lot of adaptation. So I think it's really fun and interesting. The items management and the things like that, and also you have to face RNG, but I mean the game is really rewarding, I think.
Of course. Yeah, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, please always, if you're not already, follow not only SpeedGaming and all of those SpeedGamings, 1, 2, 3, 4, and onward. Also throw a follow out there to Preucheu, follow out there to Trinton.
Definitely following the runners, maybe just following the Final Fantasy category on Twitch, in case you've enjoyed it. We've had a lot of newcomers over the past few months, including Steve and myself. We weren't the only ones that just started newly into the game and already entered the tournament. But yeah, generally most of the time at least someone is running. So if you enjoy the run, just following the category is definitely a choice. Alright, so Trinton about to finish things up here as well. Marlif went down easy schmeezy, as always. Now we're also heading to travel back in time to face the Fiends one more time, and then to accomplish Jack's greatest goal of killing Chaos.
Thirst for it. Chaos.
I'm actually mad at myself right now that only now I reminded myself of that, because, man, I missed out on so many Chaos memes that I could have made.
You even have it on your splits.
Yeah. My final split is not named Chaos. My final split is named Jack's favorite word.
I think it's always adorable going into this Chaos Shrine as beefed up as you are, and if you happen to get in an encounter before getting to this point, you still face off against those like early level formations in those encounters.
I mean, Pokemon feeling. The running by that ran trainer on Route 1 that you never faced and burned down with your level 100 Charizard. Alright, so all in all looking, the monks still didn't really make any real progressions. Still sitting at a high 330.
Yeah, considering that he's still taking on encounters at this point, just shows that, yeah, he's looking for that increase in health. The Black Mages are sitting pretty well. It wouldn't hurt to get them up. But I think that's mainly the focus right now is like, hey, the Monk is okay-ish. It's a little bit risky. I'll take some more encounters. I'm trying to get that up so my growth will get us up to 99 when we're facing Chaos.
Yeah, those 60 HP can make a huge difference. Especially considering Chaos had a few spells that only deal like 80 damage, so 60 extra HP can be a huge difference already.
I think it's a good strategy for the races. I mean, I usually take no fight in the last temple, but there I took some fights and I had I think I entered the temple with maybe 325 HP with the monk, and I fought Chaos with almost 400.
Yeah,
and that was yes.
I was noticing that during the run as well. That it was about 320-ish, and then ended up at 91.
Yes, I think if I was in PB pace, I would have go straight to Chaos, but yeah.
So you're just playing cautious, a little bit more safer considering the race.
Yes,
I mean, that's generally. I personally would always choose the safety hero with a PB, even if I saw a chance. If I can take both at once, then sure. But
yes.
At this point, you really want to think in the long run. If you try to go for the PB here and it goes south, it might lock you into an unfavorable position to end the run, and that's then the point where your opponent that you don't have any idea where they are can catch up.
Yeah, but I think, for example, versus Thundercloud, I'll have to take some risks because he's a better runner than me.
Of course, and that's the thing. Pros and cons, a little bit riskier, play a little bit safer, and get into the end as much as you can.
I mean, we're talking about Chaos. In the end, 50 HP can make a difference between life and death. Or he can play tame and doesn't matter at all. But the thing is, you never know that. The thing really is, you can't celebrate. You can't be like, oh, Chaos is only like 200 HP. He's definitely gonna be dead next turn. That's when he suddenly pulls a crit out of his trick sleeve and normal attack crits your monk and you're down again. And then, oh, hey, let's start the fight over.
Yeah, you got Flare, you got Karaja, you got a big crit that can happen to you. It's just a gamble.
In the end, Chaos is always going to be chaotic. And there's just the question, how well can you handle it and how well do you handle it? Or do you just, at the first sign of it going south, throw it away and try again? which of course is also an option, but
Me personally, if I'm sitting at a low 400s, I'll go ahead and use my X potion. Apologies.
Right, so last floor before we get into the elemental theme again. Next floor is going to be the floor of Earth with a lich at the end. And then we'll see how the final gauntlet is treating Trinton today. Preucheu got through there pretty much unscathed. Had a few little annoyances, but all in all went fairly clean.
Yeah, I think I didn't die to any boss in the game. That's totally insane. But I had very bad luck in
I was just about to say, wait, didn't you die to Kraken? But no, that was Trinton.
No, one mage died, but I trust.
Yeah, that actually is
one,
also
yeah.
that also is very funny to also just see in the duality of man. We've seen if you had a black mage being killed in turn 1, going for the Phoenix down, pretty smart move. Meanwhile, Trinton, on the other hand, we saw the exact same with the black mage getting down on turn 2, but he just tried to push it then with Fandagas and Ras, but then the second also followed down.
Yeah,
Which is just
Definitely
also
riskier. Could have worked. Definitely riskier. Could have worked and saved some time there. Poly pushing that. But also, yeah, there's nothing wrong with also just being safer, sacrificing a little bit of time, making sure you get through the fight.
I mean, especially at Chaos, he doesn't have AoEs at this point. Technically speaking, the Phoenix down is a no-brainer, because he can't kill you if 2 persons are alive.
yes.
And here we are. Well,
Not quite. This is always the fun thing when you're already facing the orbs and suddenly an encounter spawns. You're always the first second thinking, did I accidentally start that encounter before I saved now? Before then realizing, oh my god, it's just a random encounter on this exact tile. This is always like the oh shit moment. When then suddenly an encounter starts right in front of the orbs. But, yeah,
interesting strategy. Just going straight for the attacks. No gloves.
I mean, this way he has to do less menuing with the black mages just continuously spamming the tempers. It is a chance, less menuing, but will definitely that way take a few more hits to bring him down, but that still goes down quickly enough. Interesting strategies all over. We've seen all over for Trinton. Seen a lot of new things today from him.
And which is not necessarily, just to clarify, it's not a bad thing either. It's just different strategies, trying out new things, and it still got the result. You can do that Giant's Glove there in the beginning for the monk and then attack. Or you can just attack, get some of those chips in, hopefully get a crit in as well, and just keep on using those tempers to get through.
Well, you killed Lich in 4 turns, so that's good.
That is indeed the good. Going for a little bit less damage, but therefore more damage. Definitely is a strategy. Because if you buff up, there's always just a chance that, oh, you landed a low roll or maybe even a miss in one of your hits. Because as you hit, you do like about 20 hits, and of course some of them can miss as well in the calculation. And then suddenly you do 500 damage less, and the boss lives on 5 HP.
Marilla sitting at 3,200 health here. You want to finish it up at around 4 turns. No change in strategy, really. You're just kind of buffing up the monk, getting those attacks in, and finishing strong.
And there's Marlev down. Nice and easy, no casualties. Few AoEs, but nothing really danger has happened there. Also, hey, his monk actually did get some HP up, now sitting at 379. That is definitely great HP to have, if you have the luxury to grind that out.
I would say, yeah, he's definitely in a better position than he was before with that level up. 375 health for the monk. So I think that's why we start seeing Trinton flee here more. Sitting pretty good. Of course, a little bit more is health is always safer because chaos being chaos. But this is a good spot to be in as well. So if we start seeing Trinton flee here a lot more, it's understandable and looking just to go over to chaos.
But before we start thinking about chaos, we still have Kraken 2 and a Tiamat 2 to deal with. Not being able to run, always a feels bad moment when those enemies start getting more attacks in.
Yeah, especially with there being 6 of them and only 3 of you, tend to be more of the RNG heavy of the fling. Usually you'll see you can have everybody flee for the more chances for your turn to flee the party, or you can have one black mage have an AoE spell if you know that the fight will end in like 1 turn or whatnot. But sometimes it's better to have someone AoE and get out of there quick, or flee. It's just always that RNG.
RNG everywhere. But those are the choices.
And here we are against Kraken, 3,600 health. You want to end it in about 4 turns here. Same strategy, buff up the monk, and just bonk him. Kraken getting in that physical attack, taking out that black mage, which is okay. You just don't want that to happen to your monk. So usually if you have a black mage down, you usually have your monk pick up that slack. You got your tempers going on with 1 black mage and just maybe an extra glove or 2 to get your damage up to be able to attack the Kraken. And Kraken down. Plenty of Phoenix downs, plenty of ethers and high potions. Good to go, played safe, got everything that you needed resource-wise, so you have everything you need to make sure you get through all these bosses and these encounters to get to chaos. I will admit, I myself decided not to grab as much either high potions as I should have, and I got all the way to chaos and realizing that I didn't have anything. 1 run, I luckily picked up a healing helm. Not sure how that happened, but was able to get my HP back up and to handle chaos. My last one, I unfortunately didn't have anything, and I just had to risk it and just keep on going with 1 HP. Eventually got it down though. Okay, here we go. Trinton's taking on Tiamat. Tiamat has a lot more HP. We're looking at 5,500. So it's going to take at least 5 turns to take Tiamat down. Still the same strategy. Bump up the monk. Unfortunately, the black mage went down again. So you got to pick up that slack. Keep getting that monk buffed up. You can attack and use a turn to get some attacks in, or you can keep on buffing. We saw with Kraken that decided to take more attacks instead of using a glove to buff up a little bit more. Good 1,177. AoEs are coming in. They're not too strong. It's just all out brawl fest now. We got AoEs coming in. Revives it. Another hit. Tiamat down. So here we are again, ladies and gentlemen and others. We are here with Chaos. Trinton getting ready. Heals up, ethers up. Unfortunate encounter prior to it. It's always like I got Chaos on the mind and I'm ready to go for it. Then an encounter's like, oh, I just gotta get more in.
That's a step count for you. It's the same with Tiamat. You will always, it will be only 1 or 2 steps off, but it will always happen. That is just how the game works.
All right, last minute preparations against Chaos. Heals up, ethers up, quick save, good to go.
Alright, let's see. We've seen Chaos be somewhat nice for Preucheu. Let's see if we can repeat the same thing on Trinton, or if we'll still be sitting here for another half an hour. Which, sadly, is no exaggeration. But we'll definitely hope he gets through fast. So, let's see the start of the setup. Going for the Giant Sonic, for Haste, and a second Giant Sonic with the Monk, who immediately gets targeted by Chaos. Very bad start. Let's hope we don't see any AoEs this turn and that he starts healing already. Here comes the X Potion. If we see an AoE, that's already a reset. And ooh, there's the Firaga. That's already basically the first reset, because now the buff items on the Monk have been wasted. We can't get any more. We can't rebuff, so now it's just waiting for Chaos to kill us. And trying again. Quite unfortunate start. Again, in this position, 12.5% chance to hit him. Going for round 2. And Trinton already here.
We got to worry about the end of the broadcast here, so GG.
You giving up, or you already killed him?
I'm gonna keep going, but the end of the time slot's coming up, so I wanted to say hi first.
Okay, that is a very fair point. Yeah, Trinton, anyways, GG on the run. Had some very rough RNG here and there. How are you feeling?
It was about 20 deaths too many. They'd stacked up early, and yeah, I mean, if it's a minute of death, there you go.
Yeah, it really was a lot of unfortunate. Ooh, and the flare. Immediately into another death. Ooh, that sucks.
You were mentioning before about like a turn 1 flare or a turn 1 haste, which being a reset. Would that be more because of the time constraint on it, or is that more of like you will definitely die in that scenario and it's just best to end it as soon as possible?
At turn 1 haste, just Chaos has way too many options to actually try and hit your Black Mage, at which point he will do over 800 damage. So if it's still during setup and he has the chance to do it, there is just too high a chance to do it. And with Flare, as you just saw, it does about 350, will immediately kill the Black Mages, will put the Monk on 50 HP or less if he hasn't been healed at that point. Which at this point is basically a reset already anyways.
Okay, so it's more of a time thing. It's not that Chaos can't be beat, it's just the chances are slim to none.
For the haste, it's a choice to make. For the flare, it's definitely that you can't do anything at this point and you will die in the next turn no matter what you do. Like, there's no chance on setting up after a turn 1 flare. Still trying his best. Getting the heal in this time. One Black Mage still alive right now. Means he has the chance to still buff up a little bit. Fortunate attack on the warrior. That's exactly what you want to see here. Gives you a free turn to start buffing.
Alright, Black Mage down. Still good health. Fire Augurs are okay. You're really looking out for Tsunami, or you're looking out for Cyclone?
Yeah, those are the real big problems. Getting a
This is looking
good
good.
amount of
Good
buffs in
buffs.
here.
Good turn.
At this point,
Another
the
weak
smart,
AoE.
at this point, smart thing is to just keep on buffing until you hit about the 500 HP threshold. At which point you do want to heal. Ooh, that attack could be
Here we go.
dangerous.
You gotta get that X potion up.
Elixir
Or
at
elixir.
this point.
Oh, good.
Fortunate attack there.
Come on, Trinton.
You would have had 3 different chances to kill him there. What's the damage looking like?
Good damage. Very good damage.
4,600 and getting healed immediately, but 4,000 damage to hit is very good. That
Good
will be
turn.
5 hits.
Oh,
Getting normal attack once
he's
more.
gonna go for it.
pretty
Is he gonna heal?
dangerous.
What's he gonna do?
He
plays
does
the
have
safe route.
another X potion. He did pack up 2 X potions plus 2
Getting the
elixir.
right call there.
Light AoE, not an issue. Oh, a flare.
Over
He's fighting
flare.
back.
That's why you do the heal.
Oh, and there it is. GG, Trinton.
That is definitely why you do the heal. That was a
GG.
close one, but a good one.
Yeah, I knew I could get him. I had enough. I just needed it to go right at the end, which is what you want to do for Chaos, and that's where the levels are supposed to pay off. They're just supposed to pay off more along the way, too. I'm supposed to get to a higher level faster, and that just did not work today.
Yeah, anyway, still huge respects for pulling off this run. It definitely wasn't one of your greatest runs, but after this much happening, just being just having the run finished definitely feels like an accomplishment, I would say. Is that like that, or am I talking bullcrap right now from your perspective?
Oh, it's fine. I didn't enter this to win anything. I entered this to have fun. You know
That's
what?
the right
We beat
attitude.
FF1. That's fun. That's the idea. So, hey, as long as you're out there doing it, there's nothing wrong.
That's the right attitude. To be fair, and that might sound a little bit wrong from another person in this tournament, but we're not here to win. I don't think a single person is here to win, because we all are here to have fun, and we all know the only person who will win in this tournament is Chaos.
RNG is the true final boss.
Yeah, it's not so much as a competition amongst each other. It's more of a competition against RNG and Chaos. So in our own times here. But I would say that, of course, it is a tournament. People are here to win, but it's more of the mentality of not going in there with that toxic mindset or a negative competition to where it's like, oh, I have to beat him, and being negative. The Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster community is very nice, very helpful, and looking out for each other. So everybody does have that good mentality going into it. So it's nice to see and hear it, especially coming from Trinton.
And single biggest regret is I just didn't stick with the first party, because I think this would have been a lot more entertaining if I had shown what a fighter can actually do against Chaos instead.
I'm actually wondering right now, what would have been your strat with the fighter? Because I'm not even sure. My
Pretty
first...
easy. You just pick up Fire Sword in Ice Cave, and then you pick up Masamune at the end, and
Yeah, that would have been about my guess
some
to
sort
go
of
with
between
Masamune.
for.
I wasn't 100% sure if you could actually wield Masamune without the class up, so I wasn't 100% sure how that would go. But yeah, I mean, that sounds like a decent strategy with the buffs on top of him. That definitely could have went places.
And the armor actually works out much better because you get Dragon. No, you don't get Dragon. You get Flame and Ice Shield, something like that. It's actually really good armor, so your absorb is a lot better. He can actually tank against Chaos better, but you need a little bit more to buff him up, and the Black Mages don't survive to do that more, so there you go.
Yeah, there is a reason why we do what we do. But yeah, anyways, congratulations, Preucheu, for the win. Condolences, Trinton, that RNG screwed you that much, but still, congratulations for you both. You've been doing an amazing job here. been a lot of fun watching you, and it's been an honor commentating for you.
Thank you,
Ladies
both.
and gentlemen and others, thank you
Here
so much for
today.
being here.
I didn't get the pronunciation right on your name, but Preucheu? GG.
Yeah,
I think it's
thanks.
Preucheu.
Yeah, actually in French it would be Preucheu, but I'm used to hear Preucheu. No problem with that.
Well, in that case, bonsoir, because it's got to be getting pretty late for you.
Ah, yeah, it's
About
close
midnight.
to midnight. And actually, it's my birthday tomorrow, so
Oh,
We want to
Happy
drag
early
this out for
birthday.
another 30 minutes. SpeedGaming is gonna be mad, but nah.
All right, thanks everybody who hung out and chat this afternoon. Hope you had fun, and there's more coming, so watch out because there's plenty more of this ahead.
and thank you for commentating and Trinton for playing.
definitely. Thank you for that. Yeah, if you're not already, please go ahead and follow Speed Gaming and follow the racers and follow the commentators. Thank you. It was a very fun run. It was nice to see the different strategies and everybody bringing everything to the mix. If you're not already, hit up the Final Fantasy 1 Discord as well if you would like to learn and get into the community as well. And chat for, of course, being here. Hob, thank you for commentating as well. Yeah, it was a very good day today.
Sure was.
So I believe this is where we'll be ending it. Thank you so much for being here, everybody.